It's already Q2 in 2026, and let's be honest for a second. We started off this year saying that this was going to be our year. We're going to work on our business. We're going to escape the chaos. We're going to finally turn this into a business and not a job. And it got busy. And all of a sudden, all of that chaos becomes accepted. And we are super busy doing the menial work every single day rather than doing the things that need to move the needle in the business to push us forward towards our goals. And if that's you, stick around, because in this video, we're going to be going over exactly what's going to be required of you to hit your goals by the end of the year. And we're going to break it down in a systematic mathematical approach so that we can identify exactly what we need to do to get there. Now, why should you stick around and take advice from me? My name is Brent Knott. I own Design It Wraps in Jacksonville, Florida. And after 14 years in business, I finally in the last 3 years have made more progress in my business than all 14 years combined. And the reason for that was I finally unlocked what working on the business really meant. And I want to help you remove that. And I want to help you do it in a much faster time than myself. In fact, I want to have, first time I'm stating this, I want to help 100 wrap shop owners cross the 7-figure mark. That is my goal. And so that is why you should stick around, is because that is my mission. And I'm not going to stop until I do it. Now, what is the problem in your business right now? You're busy. That's the real problem. The year spins off. We come out of the end of the year. Finally, people in the service industries, it starts getting warm, whatever it may be. And then all of a sudden we get really, really busy in our businesses. And we very quickly forget all of the goals and all of the things that we had set out to do this year. And we start to feel like there's not any time. In fact, I was just onboarding a guy on a Torque CRM the other day. He's about a $700,000 shop. And he's looking to grow and go to the next step. And he doesn't have a lot of systems and processes in place. He was struggling to find the time to do the tiny bit of homework that I had signed to him to get to that next step through the onboarding process. And he says, I'm just really, really busy right now. And so I took a moment and I kind of prefaced it so he understood the point that I was trying to make. And it was that I just said, hey, my shop's about 3 times larger than yours currently. And am I not busy? And he said, yeah, you're probably really busy. I was like, I'm super busy. But I'm still getting the things that need to be done to drive the needle forward. So based on our chats, your goal is X, right? And he said, yes. And I was like, so then are your actions of what you're doing today reflecting, like going in the direction of the goal that you want? And he goes, you're right. So sometimes we have to slow down. Now, I didn't say that to be egotistical. I just said it to have proof, right? And that's the only thing I could leave at the time whenever I was talking to him, because he was kind of in a panic. But slowing down to sharpen the axe, if you will, to chop down the tree or to do the task that we need to do is very effective and often overlooked. So if you're running around answering all the text messages, ordering your materials, doing every single little thing in your shop, and you have anybody on your team, if you're alone, understandable. You got to get to the first hire. But if you have 1 to 3 people on your team, what is it that you hired them to do? And you're not allowing them to take that responsibility off of your plate. Running a business is a lot like going to a buffet, except you only have 1 plate, and that's your time. And you can stack food on that plate, but eventually, you can't really fit any more on the plate. Things are just going to start falling off, and that's you missing follow-ups, missing sending out estimates, missing billing people, missing ordering materials, etc. So what are you going to take off your plate in order to give yourself time to put the cheesecake of working on your business so that you can actually, taste that really good cheesecake? A lot of us spend about 80% of our day just being super busy because it feels, like we completed something. But 20% of our day is actually working. In fact, I would challenge you, if you have never done this, and I would rather run a 250-mile ultra again than to do another time study, but do a time study. The first time I ever heard this was from John Doover and then my other coach, Thomas Keenan. But basically, you start a spreadsheet, and every 15 minutes, you write on that spreadsheet exactly what occurred. Whether it was you wasted time, you had a conversation with staff, you were on the phone with a spouse, whatever it may be that you were occurring, even if it was work or not work, doesn't matter. Whatever you got accomplished in the last 15 minutes goes onto the spreadsheet. You plug that in for 2 weeks straight on any moment that you're working. And what you'll realize is actually you have a lot of time. There's like spurts that you work, and then the rest of it, in many cases, is distraction. I'm guilty of this myself, even to this day, and I find myself to be pretty disciplined, but I still get distracted. It's very easy to get distracted nowadays. So do a time study and identify what of those tasks or gaps or things are causing your distractions and remove it off your plate. If there are certain administrative duties that you're doing and you have an admin on your staff, then like get it off your plate. Give it and assign it to that person and ask them, can I rely on you to see these responsibilities all the way through and not just report on it? Meaning that they're not going to come to you and ask you every single question possible, that they're actually going to use the brain that they were born with, and they're probably very intelligent as well. Give them permission to use their brain. Some of us, as business owners, we micromanage people. We actually compress their ability to think for themselves, and we make the decisions for them, and then they just come to you for the questions, and then you validate their questions, et cetera, so on and so forth. But get things off of your plate and start to give yourself at least 30 minutes a day that you can actually work on the things that you need to work on. Minimum 30 minutes a day. Pick a number, whatever number that you're going to try to end the year with in your sales goal. You got to pick one, whether it be $1 million, $750K, $500,000, $250,000, $100,000 if you're just getting going, whatever it may be. And then I want you to take that and I want you to break it down. Now, for example, if you're $250,000 and for you to see a $500,000 target, it's daunting. I don't care who you are. If you're any double, 250K to 500K is very daunting when you're just looking at it from the end result, right? But when I do ultra runs, like I'm doing one this Friday, I don't look at the event in 100 miles. Oh my God, that's a lot. Instead, what I look at it as, what do I need to do just to get to the next aid station? What do I need to do just to get to the next checkpoint so that I can recover, make decisions, and then get back out and do it again? And I do that over and over and over and over and over until I arrive at the end destination. I never actually focus on the end goal or the end target. So the 500K is not what I'm looking at. I'm going to be looking at what do I need to do right now to get there. So let's break that down So if you were to do $500,000 a year, forecast $500,000 a year, and you divided it by 12 months, that's $42,000 that you need to bring in. Now, what's your close rate? When you finally get a customer and you actually procure them an estimate, what is the close rate in which you receive a deposit? For simple math, I'm going to use 50% close rate, but if you think that you're at 30%, 20%, then replace the number with whatever that would be, and you can redo your math. So here's where it gets fun. We can now start to turn our goal into be broken down either in per units of vehicles wrapped or into quotes. In this case, I'm just going to say, how many quotes do we need to have? So what is your average job size first? I'm going to just put, wrap jobs vary anywhere between $2,500 to $5,000. So we're going to use $3,500 for this example. And out of every 10 quotes that you send out, you're closing 5. Then you need to take your monthly target of $42,000, divide that by your average job size of $3,500, and then that would be 12 jobs a month. Now, if you need 12 jobs a month, then you need to send out 24 estimates, right? So if we take our 24 estimates and then break it down by 4 weeks of the month, we only need 6 quotes a week consecutively, every week over week over week. Based on this math, to hit our $500,000 goal. Now, of course, there's a reason that you're not already at $500,000. This is what's going to identify what is the constraint. If you're sending out 20 quotes a week and you're still not hitting your revenue goal, then your close rate's not really 50%. You need to modify your sales process and identify, am I getting leads out of the dumpster? Am I really bad at sales? What is the constraint in that case? Now let's flip it on the other extreme where you're like, Brent, I can't even quote 6 quotes a week right now. I don't have enough people that know that I exist. Fantastic. That's your constraint. You need to go find leads. And we've done multiple videos on this, but let's recap again. If you don't have leads, then the very first thing that you should do every single day, period, is go sit at the gas station. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Every one of your customers that are out at the gas station getting their big gulps before they go do their work for today. So, and what's really funny is it's like the highest levered activity that you could ever do, because you can actually survey the vehicle and have the photos on file of exactly what the vehicle looks like before it even is sold. And you're prepared, like you are ready whenever that customer converts. So, you know exactly what their wrap looks like, exactly the layout. If you happen to be able to recreate it, then fantastic. You just need to color match it. You are a rock star in the eyes of your customer. Now, we've broken down your organic deal flow, but there's a couple other ways that we can also acquire more revenue in our business. So let's say we're doing marketing, for example, and I'm going to pull up some real client numbers here. We had a customer who, that we've been working with for the last 3 months. Their ad spend was $5,000, so it was $4,866. They generated $96,455 from that ad spend. Now, they obviously had some pretty good luck. They also, more importantly, have massive systems in place. They have an appointment setter, and then they have 3 sales reps ready to go at all times that are doing outreach and follow-ups and closing deals. Now, out of that $5,000 in ad spend, they received 51 leads. And out of those 51 leads, they closed 14 jobs. So these figures are all based on our $500,000 goal, but the average job size or average job ticket in this case, because he does wraps plus upfitting, is $6,889 per job. His close rate was 27%. Okay, so 1 in 4 of the deals that came into his ecosystem he closed from the ad spend. And the effective cost per lead was approximately $95 per lead. So if we were to reverse engineer it, then how many jobs does he need to hit $500,000? He needs 73 projects based on this math. And how many leads do you need at a 27% close ratio? He would need 270 leads. Therefore, he would need, in order to go from $0, and this is extreme case, but if he needed to go from $0 to adding $500,000 revenue in his business, he would need to spend $25,000 in ad spend, plus all of the administrative costs of making and selling those deals. And so on the screen here, I'm going to put a sample table of a couple other metrics, because you can blend these methodologies, but if we wanted to add an extra $100,000 of revenue in this particular business by the end of the year, then we would need to generate an additional 54 leads and or spend an additional $5,100. So every $100,000 revenue that we add to this business, we're going to need to spend $5,000 of ad spend approximately based on this 3 months math. Now, another way that you can go in and begin to generate additional revenue is just flat out cold calling. Now, if we were going to add $250,000 in revenue to our business and our average job size was $3,500, and let's just say because this is cold outreach, we're not paying anything to receive these leads. Therefore, we need to be right place, right time, and we need to be planting seeds to nurture, water, and grow them until they become jobs. Okay? So our close rate, with that in mind, is most likely going to be about 3%. So in order to add $250,000, so in order to add $250,000 in revenue to our business, we're going to need 72 jobs. Now, how many calls do I need to make to get 72 jobs at a 3% close ratio. That's 2,400 calls. Now, that sounds really scary, but here again, if we break it down per month, we need to make 200 phone calls per month. We need to make 50 calls per week of outreach. The issue with many of us is our customers that we want to serve and that you probably are the right answer for in regards to solving their problem. They don't know you exist. And you've done a really poor job at letting them know that you exist. So whether it be through marketing, organic, word of mouth, or cold calls, this is exactly what you can do to grow and scale your wrap shop and how you can approach it mathematically. Now, I want to get into the reason why this video is so fun. This is how my brain works nowadays, and it took a long time for all this to register, but it's embarrassingly simple. Let's do the final way that we can add $250,000 in revenue in our business. And everybody says, I don't advertise, I just do word of mouth. But you don't even have a post-sale referral process. You just allow the customer to give you a reactive word of mouth rather than farming the word of mouth yourself. There's absolutely zero reason. You get what you ask for, okay? So if we ask our customers for the referral, we can actually expedite word of mouth. So again, your average job size is $3,500. Your referral rate is 1 referral per 4 customers that you do, okay? That means that somebody has somebody with something in need at that moment. And then conservatively, if your referral close rate was 50%, similar to the beginning of this video, these are warm leads, they already trust you, their friend referred them to you, etc. Then if we wanted to add an additional $250,000 in revenue to our business, what do we need? We need 72 jobs, right? Which means we need 144 referrals. This can happen very quickly, regardless of your revenue target, because it could be sticker projects, it could be signage projects, it could be all kinds of different little things that you can then ask for a referral towards your main service to try to get more revenue. Now, the best part about all of this is each one of these were broken down individually. Imagine if you just did, like you executed on all 3. If you were to run some ad spend to where you were able to, start farming leads that you don't have already, you did the work for them, okay, regardless of what they cost you. Let's say they cost you $250 per lead or $400 per transaction of closed sale. Some people are like, man, that's a lot of money. Yes, it is. But if you ask them for referral on the back end, then now you actually water down your $400 in ad spend and it becomes $200 if you just get 1 referral. And then don't forget the lifetime value of the customer as well, where down the road that customer comes back and uses you again and you paid $200 for that lead after you got the referral, and then they bought again. Now that lead is worth $100. And then what if they buy again? Now that lead is $50. So you water down your ad spend and your marketing efforts by getting higher lifetime values out of your customer, getting them to repeat buy, setting up nurture campaigns so that they remember you when they do need to buy again, so that when they buy the next vehicle wrap, it comes straight to you. And then you can also, if you don't have money and or if you only have a little bit of money, you can do cold outreach. There's absolutely zero reason that you shouldn't be doing cold outreach if you can't afford to do marketing. And you should aim to do cold outreach for as long as you can until you can get to marketing. And then you do marketing until you can get to a salesperson. And then that salesperson has all their bandwidth is towards sales, and they blend cold outreach plus leads that you generate for them. So you need to plug in your numbers to understand how this math works for you. Now, I'm happy to give you a revenue forecasting calculator. Click the link below, and you can download it and work on figuring out what you need to do in your business to hit your revenue target. Here's the biggest shift or the change that when it finally unlocked in my mind, it it's where I've seen the biggest growth from not only myself, but also from my business and the opportunity of the people that are within it. And that's gamifying working on your business. You should set some form of reward system up. Many of us, when we first start working on our businesses, we don't have the identity of the business owner. No matter how much we think we do, we usually end up devolving back into installer or designer or whatever, because that's what we've done habitually. So I remember seeing in my memories the other day, it was a really funny picture because my reward system is a lot different now. But I had a memory on Facebook where it said, I spent 30 days not holding a squeegee, and so this is my reward to me. And it was me allowing myself to wrap 2 trucks. So before that, I would only work with a squeegee once I completed my duties of working on the business. And what did that look like at the time? So I would do something like make my 30 contacts for the day for my sales and then do my follow-ups. Once I did those outreaches for the first hour to 2 hours in my office, then I was allowed to go do the fulfillment and the fun things, the things that I really enjoyed. In fact, I actually really love installing. A lot of people get that wrong about me. I really liked installing, but I like creating opportunity as a business owner more. So I just did not realize that at the time. And so my brain would always be like, hey, you really need to get in the back. You really need to go do this install. And while that was true, I also really needed to be growing my business. So I challenge you, if you've fallen behind on Q1, let's get after it. You still got 3 more months. In fact, you got 2 of the best months ahead of you. And then December can be amazing too if you actually prime it on Q3, but you're going to need time to prime Q4 and Q3. So start working on your business now so that you can go ahead and build out some of these systems to actually get this going, and start getting better at asking yourself better questions. What is my constraint today? Why do I feel like this? If your business feels like chaos, then why? Truly, stop for just a minute and ask yourself why. So keep on keeping on. I'm super proud of everybody that sticks around for these videos. I love making them, and I'm excited to keep delivering value. If I've impacted you in any way, or if you happen to cross the 7-figure mark and you feel that I've impacted you, please let me know. I'm literally going to start a board in which I am going to document and track my progress from 0 to 100 shops to 7 figures. Reach out to me if you need anything. I am here to serve. I will hop on a call with you. Let's make this industry great. It's already amazing, but I feel strongly that there is massive opportunities coming in the near future for this industry. So let's make it beautiful. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.